The case was simple. A woman, injured in a terrifying crash, deserved compensation. But her own digital ghost, a single photo from a forgotten website, was about to testify against her. The fog that morning on the interstate was a living thing. It swallowed headlights whole and turned taillights into faint, drifting embers. Maya Lawson was driving to her early shift, her mind on her son's upcoming birthday. In her rearview mirror, two pinpricks of light grew rapidly, morphing into the massive, grill-shaped face of a Peterbilt semi-truck. There was no time to scream. The impact was a world-ending shudder of tearing metal and exploding glass when the silence returned. It was broken only by the hiss of a ruptured radiator and Maya's shallow, pained breaths. The legal battle that followed seemed straightforward. Maya, through her attorney, Mr. Carter, sued the trucking company for negligence. The medical reports painted a clear picture: soft tissue damage, a herniated disc, chronic pain. Her life, she testified, was now defined by limitations. She could no longer pick up her son. Simple chores were agony. The sympathetic eyes of the jury were firmly on her side. The trucking company's lawyer, a methodical woman named Allison Shaw, faced an uphill battle. That is, until she started digging into the digital world Maya inhabited before the crash. This was the era of dial-up tones and profile songs, a time when people poured their unfiltered lives onto platforms like MySpace, not knowing they were building a permanent, searchable archive of their past. Allison Shaw's young paralegal, Ben, was a digital native. While the older attorneys focused on depositions and accident reconstruction, Ben had a hunch. Everyone had a MySpace back then, he told Allison. It's worth a look. What he found wasn't just a profile. It was a time capsule of a completely different person. There were photos of a vibrant, smiling Maya, at concerts, at parties, living a life that seemed at odds with the woman who now winced while adjusting in the witness stand. But one album, titled Random Nights, stopped him cold. The case proceeded. The defense's strategy seemed puzzling. They didn't aggressively challenge the accident's severity. Instead, they quietly established a timeline and meticulously documented Maya's claimed disabilities. Allison Shaw asked seemingly benign questions about Maya's social life, her hobbies before the accident. Just establishing a baseline, she assured the judge when Mr. Carter objected. The jury settled in for what seemed like a predictable if tragic case. Then, on the final day of the trial, Allison Shaw stood for her cross-examination. Her tone was calm, almost conversational. Ms. Lawson, you've described for us the profound impact of your injuries. The pain is constant, you said. Yes, Maya replied, her voice soft. And it limits virtually every physical activity. That's correct. You can't engage in any of the recreational activities you once loved. Mr. Carter was on his feet. Objection asked and answered, Your Honor. Sustained. Allison Shaw nodded politely. Then she paused, letting the silence stretch. Ms. Lawson, do you have or have you ever had an account on the social media platform MySpace? The question hung in the air. Mr. Carter looked confused. Maya's eyes flickered for a fraction of a second, a crack in the veneer of pained stoicism. I might have years ago. I don't remember the password or anything. So you wouldn't be able to access it today? No, that's quite all right, Allison said, turning to the judge. Your Honor, with the court's permission, we have the necessary login information recovered from an old email backup. We would like to display Exhibit 42, the plaintiff's authentic MySpace profile, published contemporaneously around the time of the accident. The objection from the plaintiff's table was loud and immediate. Fishing expedition, relevance, this is a gross invasion of privacy, but the judge, curious, allowed it. A projector screen descended. The old, familiar blue and white layout of a MySpace profile filled the screen. Maya's younger face smiled out at the courtroom. Allison Shaw navigated slowly. This is your profile, is it not, Ms. Lawson? Maya loves music 84. Maya gave a tight, nearly imperceptible nod. Let's look at the photos you uploaded about 8 months after the accident. The clicks of the mouse were loud in the quiet room. The first photo appeared, Maya in a crowded bar holding a drink. She was standing, but the angle was inconclusive. Mr. Carter relaxed slightly. Then came the second photo. It was a nighttime shot taken with a flash. Image was grainy, the colors washed out, but the subject was unmistakable. Maya Lawson was perched on the hood of a car, a friend's Honda Civic. She wasn't just sitting. She was in mid-motion, one leg kicked out, her head thrown back in laughter. She was dancing, or at least giving a very convincing impression of someone who could move their spine without screaming in pain. A soft murmur rippled through the jury box. The sympathetic glances hardened into stares of doubt, but Allison Shaw wasn't done. And let's look at the comments section directly beneath this photo. She scrolled. There in the public comments was a text exchange. A friend had written, "Haha, great night, we should do it again next weekend." and Maya's reply, time-stamped for all to see, read, "Can't. Lawyer says I gotta lay low and look hurt for this court thing. So annoying." For a full 10 seconds, the only sound in the courtroom was the hum of the projector. The digital ghost had spoken. The casual betrayal in that phrase, "look hurt," evaporated every ounce of sympathy in the room. It wasn't just a picture suggesting she could move. It was her own words admitting she was pretending she couldn't. Maya's face crumbled. Mr. Carter put his head in his hands. The defense had no more questions. In his closing argument, a deflated Mr. Carter tried to salvage something. He spoke of pain being subjective, of good days and bad days, of the human desire to seem normal in front of friends. But the image was indelible. The words were unforgivable. Allison Shaw's closing was brief. She simply pointed at the frozen image on the screen. "You don't need medical degrees to understand this evidence," she told the jury. "She told you and she showed you exactly what this case is about. It's not about an injury, it's about a fraud." The jury deliberation was the shortest the bailiff could remember, less than an hour. The verdict was unanimous. For the defense, no liability. Maya Lawson received nothing. The aftermath was a quiet devastation. The legal debt remained. The reputational damage in her small community was severe. The friend who posted the photo, their friendship didn't survive. The case became a local legend, a cautionary tale whispered among lawyers and paralegals. Remember the MySpace girl. It marked a turning point, one of the first times a person's careless digital past rose up in a civil trial to deliver its own damning testimony. It proved that in the modern world, your alibi isn't just where you were. It's everything you've ever posted, forgotten, and left behind. The story endures because it's a parable for our time. We all curate versions of ourselves online. But the law deals in facts, and sometimes the most factual version of you is the one you posted at 2 a.m. on a forgotten server, smiling for a camera you didn't know would become a witness. If you found this story of digital karma compelling, show your support. Like this video and subscribe to Unbound Stories SR for more deep dives into the moments where real life and the digital world collide with dramatic consequences. Have you ever regretted something you posted online years ago? Share your thoughts below.